Hello, Niktana here, and I wanted to discuss, this is one of, I guess, the most praised of my, art is probably my dark art. Um, I don't particularly like doing a lot of it because I do tend to be depressed or upset or, really, off my rocker when I draw it. Um, if I don't believe any of my art or the expression of what I'm trying to get out of it, I erase it and I start again. With my dark art, I literally ingest so much emotion is poured out because it's my way of venting, and to take pain and create beauty, and negativity is ink in my pen. Um, but I would like to go through some of it because I'm not going to discuss all of the symbolism towards it because some of it's personal and some of it I like to leave up to interpretation of how the viewer feels about it. But I'm going to give you pretty much a bit of the gist of why I drew these. Starting off with my first one, which actually was by accident, and I didn't know it was even a style because on DeviantArt someone praised me for doing. I didn't know smudge art was a thing. I mean, they do amazing art, and I just try to just smudge two different colors together to create a banshee. That's the story behind that one. The scarecrow. I don't know what came over me with that one, to be honest. I just kind of wanted to give a creepy underworld take on a scarecrow figure, and yeah. But getting farther into it, the flower and justice, those two, I remember the feeling of being bound and just not being able to breach for the flower, and then the justice one, just a really more or less twisted take on the scales and imbalance, and it seems like your fate is just dangling by strings, and justice proving not only to be blind but a little bit deaf too. So that's another one. The necromancer one, I like the undead and graveyards and stuff like that, so I wanted to do something to show that side of it because I do love cemeteries and that whole shebang, and I was venting for other reasons, but that wasn't the intent of the drawing. It was because I wanted to show my love for the undead portion of horror. Flesh pit. This has a few ways to look at it. One of them that I will tell you is a feeling the feeling of being a piece of meat, I guess you could say, and then when you perceive yourself as you feel like nothing more than just flesh and just the weight of everything pulling, and you pretty much being tossed aside and pretty much to bleed out. I know it's a dark. There's more to it. It's just that's to give an idea of one way to look at it, but it's really up to interpretation of how it affects you, and that's what I like. I like to challenge the viewer because if you see more than just the flesh or some horrific sight, then you're rewarded for seeing beyond such aesthetics and prove that you're not so shallow. The Time Slave. This one is personal to me just simply because I try to be optimistic and not think of the past so much, but sometimes it really does take its toll, and you really reflect, and you sometimes mourn a time when you may have had opportunities and just didn't take them, and just or even greed and thinking that the more you work and the more money you make, the more your dreams will come true, and sometimes you don't realize that you're neglecting other things, and that's sort of what that is all about, that regret. And the last two, it's not the most beautifully shaded or anything like that. I really just wanted to do most of the detail and the line art. There's You Get What You Pay For on the left, and Vanity Fear, which is on the right. The symbolism for the You Get What You Pay For. The idea was brought to me by my better half. They had a different idea of how it was supposed to be in their head, so I hope that they understand that the symbolism in this is, I know I did my own twist on it, but pretty much the pig is genderless. The bottom one is a male. It's an ant, of course, but the pig has pretty much his testicles in a bag. And, yeah, you could pretty much get what the symbolism is in that, but it's pretty much the ant is reflecting of like how did he get himself in here, but you kind of just have to realize that you make choices and you get what you pay for. The Vanity Fear I did today, that one is pretty much I have been in the situation of like looking in the mirror and just like thinking this needs work, this needs work, this needs, and just it's kind of upsetting, but I know a lot of people relate to it with body issues, but ultimately you just have to learn to accept, because the more you fuck with things, the more you just end up wrecking a lot more in the process of it. But it's pretty much to know that there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, and then seeing the negative effects after. But yeah, so that's pretty much my art. You can subscribe to me on here, ring the bell if you want notifications, and you can follow me on DeviantArt, Niktana Art. So yeah, see you later.